What's up, guys? This is Spellblade Aluriel. This is just a random plug. You're not going to see a whole lot out of this. This is a French plug with Shannon, for those of you that remember who he is. I remember he was in this testing. This is the only video available besides Whatever We're Awesome, and they only had 14 people. I guess this group isn't much better. They have 13, but they actually seem to do better. Um, so we're going to just talk about the changes. I'm going to give my thoughts on how the strategy is going to work. And yeah, so the first thing I want to say is that this will most likely be the first boss that you will encounter after the 3 entry bosses. I could see top-end guilds going to a different boss, like maybe Croesus first. If Croesus DPS check isn't too high, which most likely with the gear that they have, I don't think it will be. But this boss paths around the center all the time. It seems really annoying to have to dodge it all the time, but that might be the case. We might be going to a different boss, but I'm going to just go ahead and go over all this. The problem is with this boss, I think it's going to be one of the harder bosses that you're going to see out of the first 5 or 4. Well, it's definitely going to be the harder boss out of the first 4, just because of the fact, first of all, testing was not done on this boss. It was when Heroic TOV was coming out. I think most top-end guilds were doing splits at the time anyway, and there was only a few guilds that tested this. Very few. So, we'll see, but most likely this is going to be the 4th boss that you're going to go to. So there's no changes to the actual mechanics that Spellblade does herself, but she has an extra add called Fell Soul. It happens every time she goes into a new phase. She spawns it within like 15 seconds. It lasts 45 seconds, and it has a mechanic per phase, a different mechanic per phase, as well as 2 other mechanics called Decimate, which knocks back her tank that's tanking her. This fight will require a 3rd tank, I am fairly sure. And also Severed Soul, which if the Fell Soul is more than 45 yards away from Aluriel, they will get a 500% damage buff. So basically can't be 45 yards away. In the Frost phase, she has one new mechanic, or the Fell Soul does one mechanic called Whirling Barrage. Basically, it's just a whirlwind that you have to dodge. This is one of the reasons I think this requires a 3rd tank, because of the fact that I think the 3rd tank is going to want to tank her outside of where the melee is standing. It's not an ad that you have to cleave down. It has the same health pool that she does, and it only lasts 45 seconds, so there's no reason to pour damage into it. So I think this will be tanked outside of where everyone is, and the tank will be knocked back most likely into the raid and then get back out really quickly. Warriors, Demon Hunters are going to be really good for this heroically, but yeah, so that's most likely what you're going to be seeing as far as comp. 3 tank, 5 heal maybe, and 12 DPS. So the Whirling Barrage is the first mechanic, though. I'll try to find where they're actually doing this fight. You can see this is the start of the fight. The Frost phase, they don't survive very long, mostly because this guy is retarded with Mark of Frost. Here's the Fell Soul. It's attacking him for no reason, because they don't have a 3rd tank in this group. But you can see the first mechanic. There's Whirling Soul. Just a whirlwind. Just targets a random range player and follows it. But I do think that requires a 3rd tank, just because melee getting raped by that constantly isn't really feasible. So the 2nd phase, Fire phase, she gets a new mechanic. Did not see it in any of the testing videos that are available. It's called Fell Stomp. Basically, I'll just read the mechanic off because it makes pretty much complete sense. Aluriel's Fell Soul targets a random player and leaves eventually at their location, inflicting 500,000 fire damage per second to those caught within the effect. She will use this during Aluriel's Fire phase. So, basically, leap gonna cause you to have to spread out 8 yards apart. I'm guessing it's gonna drop a flame patch, which may cause a lot of movement around this room. So you're gonna clear all the trash. But as far as the strategy behind it, I don't think this phase requires a third tank, but the rest of the phases do. Um, she will most likely just jump, come back, jump, come back, jump, come back. It's really just going to be a matter of not being farther than 45 yards apart so she doesn't get severed soul, and also making sure that you're spread far enough apart that multiple people do not get hit by the fell stomp. No idea what that animation looks like. That's just a guess. So hopefully I'm right, but I would consider that the easiest phase, honestly. The hardest part about it, I think, is dealing with Searing Brand, which is the debuff in the fire phase, and dealing with that. That's a lot of healing on one person if they happen to get that, while also having to spread out so the ads don't stack together. Just going to be a lot of shit going on that you're going to have to deal with. But as far as the mechanic goes, it's not very hard. The last mechanic in the arcane phase is Fell Lash. It is basically a huge cleave, does 30 million damage split between everyone in the cleave. The strategy behind this, I believe, is having the tanks with Spellblade Aluriel face one way, because Spellblade Aluriel does also have a cleave. Face her one way, and then face the Fell Soul the other way. I don't know, no idea how often she does Fell Lash. I'm guessing it's going to be once every phase, because 30 million damage is a lot to an entire raid group even. Maybe twice. But basically, everyone's going to have to stack up except the other two tanks, take the Fell Lash, and then everyone's going to have to respread and get ready for Arcane Orbs, because those are going to be dropping. And also have to kill Armageddon ads with Lust, which I think is going to be the enrage of the fight, having to deal with the arcane ads. They have a 15-second cast instead of a 20-second cast, unless they have some way to actually stack them, which it didn't look like in Heroic. You're going to have to pop Lust in this phase, and the second time when you don't have Lust, I don't see it being reasonable to kill all those ads, and they do one-shot in this mode, so I just don't see any way where you can get a second arcane phase and survive. So, those are my thoughts on the fight. Explanation mechanics. Not much video, sorry. But, yeah. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.